Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Accelerator with Michael Conniff. That's me. We're a podcast dedicated to startups and entrepreneurs and founders, and also the financial people who look after them, the VCs, the angels, the family offices, and investment firms. And today I am really delighted, honored to be joined by Milan Krajnc. He is a man who is hard to describe exactly what you do, but it is pretty amazing. He's also been nominated for a Nobel Prize, and he joins us in part because we are both advisors at UNIPLAT, the UNIFY platform bringing together SDG companies and founders and entrepreneurs to a greater, broader world. And that you can find that at uniplat.social. Welcome, Milan. Great to have you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to I'm going to read a little bit from your profile on LinkedIn. It says you work with governments and advise companies in crisis situations. So
Yes.
there seem to be no shortage of crisis situations these days. Is this work that you are actively involved in right now as we speak?
Yes, in some country. In this moment, I'm in traveling here in Serbia, Kosovo, and Macedonia.
Aha. And are you there for work? Are you there because of a crisis there, perhaps?
Same crisis and work in
And work.
crisis situation.
And
Yes,
where are you from originally?
from Slovenia. I'm
Okay.
born in Yugoslavia, but now it's just Slovenia.
And how did you get into this work of crisis negotiation? I know you have a background in part in psychology, but most people don't grow up to want to solve the crises of the world. So how did you get to do that? How did that begin?
Okay, my story. Uh, More than 20 years ago, I work as a teacher. I teach physics because I before study physics. And then I see this is not my future. It's a good job, but I'm not, it's too small for me. And then I start cooperate with different company to reorganize business process. And but very quick I see it's not problem in process in a mindset. People who create a process. And then I study psychotherapy and psychology because I need to understand how work, mindset, brain, and everything, all personality.
So you went through a process where you were a teacher, then you got into looking at how process was a part of companies and organizations, and
Yes.
that led you to psychology. So what was it when you were studying process that made you think, I have to learn about the brain, I have to learn about all of these um, less, or let's call them more ambiguous things? What led you to decide you needed to do that?
Uh, First, very important how it's a childhood of owner and manager in company or political because all personality create in the first 6 years our life, and this is very important. Who is our authority? Sometimes it's parents, sometimes grandparents, or other people. And this is very important because all personality create in first 6 years in our life. And example, we born with some potential, but this potential need security space.
Mhm.
And then nature give some camera or sensor. This name is ego, and
Mm.
ego observe uh, our neighbor and see what is good and what is not good for us. And
Mm.
if ego see the people who is our authority live what feel, then set our potential. Now you can create and start a living. If not, then block our potential, and then
Mm.
recording all life other people, and this scenario and this film come in our mindset. And
And did you know that? Did you learn that in school, or what led you to that conclusion about the first 6 years of life being so important?
uh, it's very important to look at people who live what feel. Feeling is very important because uh, I I see at my work uh, nobody really feel,
Mm.
because all this emotion and feel is just copy paste from film for other people from book, not real feeling. And this is my job, to clear mindset. And this is a point for all crises in the world.
So when you talk about feeling, this is to understand the feeling of the individuals you're dealing with in a crisis situation, right?
Yes.
And so, it, it, it would you say that there are similarities in these situations that you were thrust into? What are the things you see over and over again?
Mm, unhappy people.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Unhappy people make for unhappy countries.
Yes, and unhappy situation, because this unhappy situation is a crisis situation.
Sure, but how do you if you're dealing in the realm of feelings with world leaders or with people in the midst of crisis, how do you get them to feel differently about what's happening?
Very important is a balance in our life, because all situation, bad or good situation, create in our head, in our brain. But this is a psychology process, and create and brain need fresh air and good blood. And because if we have condition, then we can change um, a situation. If no, then not. This is mean uh, everybody needs a sport in life. This
You
is a
mean
base.
literally a sport where you can get fresh air and exercise and get
And good
away?
food.
Yeah. So that's important. But when you go into a crisis, you can't say to, for example, Vladimir Putin, you need to go ride your horse, right? So how do you infuse that your philosophy in situations where they're so focused on something that's probably pretty negative and pretty stressful?
Uh, Directly, this situation in Russia and Ukraine, uh, I can't how it say. Um, my grandmother come from Ukraine,
Hmm.
and I know this situation very good because we talk every day with our people
Your
in
relatives,
Ukraine.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, but it's a different situation, not like in news. Uh, News too much, everything, but history in a side of Russian, not Ukraine, and
Mhm.
maybe in this moment, war is not good, but position Putin to need this part of Ukraine, it's really Russian.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Yes.
But
Uh,
how do you change how leaders feel about a situation when their positions tend to be very dug in and very fixed? How do you get at the feelings? How do you change their feelings about it? Would be my question.
yes, uh, if Putin be on my client, then is this is not this is a so hard question because
Yeah,
uh, because first is if people uh, need a change, then call me and
I see.
people feel to need something else, but
They need a
Putin
change. They need a
don't.
difference.
Yes, Putin don't feel. People Putin thinks this is my true,
Hmm.
and then in this situation I can maybe I can't consulting Ukraine to just stop a war in this part of Ukraine, and then just this, but maybe not this in this time to
Right.
talk.
It's a tough one. There's no question. Now
Yes,
let me shift the conversation a little bit to Uniplat. You have joined as an advisor, a senior advisor at Uniplat. People can find it at uniplat.social.
yes.
Um, what was what is the importance of Uniplat? Why did you agree to help?
Because for, like ask like talk first I'm be in teacher and then entrepreneur
Hmm.
and then professor on university and scientist, and I see all this level, and then I see what is really important to science and what's need to entrepreneur, because uh, uh, people who have idea start with business,
Hmm.
not school, not rule, just go create company and work, sales,
They get
and
a
do.
business idea. They get a business
Yes, yes,
concept.
yes.
Yeah, first.
But
Okay.
this is not okay, because if I look on business at the psychology side, then it's a business psychology garbage, uh, because it's too much. We If we can have not a rule, then business go to 24 hours per day, every day, just thinking work, work, work.
Right.
But this is not a point of life. Point of life is life, not work and business.
Hmm.
Business just support our personal goals and personal life. But when we start a business, we forget this, and
Mm.
then start with crisis. This is the first steps to crisis.
Hmm.
And
And we call it burnout or being a workaholic,
yes,
right?
yes, uh, workaholic. Okay, next time. Uh, but scientists and theoretic just create a model, and then uh, connect scientists and this model with entrepreneur. This is a win-win situation, and everything. And this platform, it's very good for this to connect different people.
This is Uniplat that we're talking about, and what so given what Uniplat does and what it hopes to do, what is the role of and the importance of a psychologist in that formula? I hear you saying, in a sense, that entrepreneurs and scientists and everyone needs a balance so that they're not completely overwhelmed by their business 24 hours a day. But what would your advice be to somebody who's looking at Uniplat, is going to put one of their inventions or innovations up there, one of their videos? What would your advice to be to somebody like that who's new to the whole process?
Uh, in uh, in this platform give a people more time for life, or something back life to life.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. Balance between everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different experience. It's very uh, uh, clear information, or base. This is important for everyone who go on this platform, or reading,
Mm-hmm.
or just watch. This is a base, because when I work with entrepreneur and in a family business, I see where is the problem. People work and don't have a feeling for life, for living. Just every day is same, work, but what is important end of this way,
And
just
how
to
do
keep.
you get people to change? I mean, there is a culture of out there. You called it garbage, and I think you're right. But there's a culture that says you should be working every minute. Um, what do you do to change someone's focus so that they can have more of a life and not just work? What's
This
the
is
magic formula?
uh, a balance between physical body and intellectual body, emotion body, and soul body.
Hmm.
What's this mean? We need to first we need to reorganize day per day. We need a meeting every day with myself to start
Hmm.
a day, and end of the business day we need to meeting again with myself and analyze everything. Then this is mean for brain. Now I'm finish thinking about business, and now it's time to thinking about emotion and my body and everything. This is very important, because then we start a live every day separately, and we create this how it say feeling for every day. It's
Hmm.
not important yesterday or tomorrow, just this day is very important.
Focus
But
on the now.
yes, because when we clean our mindset every day, then all stress give out of our brain,
Mm,
because then brain not have information about uh, don't then brain not thinking about the different things, but only one.
mhm.
Everything we analyze and write in a paper or handbook. This
I
is
see.
important, and then all pressure what's it inside just go.
Mhm. Now, let me ask you, let me try to bring these two threads together of the working with the countries and then the entrepreneur and UNIPLAT. So, um, entrepreneurs very frequently feel like they are in crisis, don't they? They very frequently feel like there is an existential threat that the business could end. They're running out of money or something goes wrong. Um, so there is a I would say that in many startups, if not all, there is a crisis mentality, right, about the business. How should an what should an entrepreneur do to fight against that crisis mentality and to fix that?
Uh, uh, Maybe many people read a too much book.
Or let me rephrase that. Let me say that how I would say that. You might also say they overthink it, right?
Yes,
They think too much about it, maybe.
yes, this is a problem. People is thinking too much, but for only one way. We need a different way,
Hmm.
different things. Not only I don't know sport, not only a psychology, not a business. We are very different dynamic life.
Hmm. Well, it's funny. As I listen to you, I think I've always had a rule for myself, which is I try really hard never to do any work on Saturday. So I actually work. I write 6 days a week, but on Saturday I just try not to do anything and spend some time, as you would say, with myself. Try to think about what's going on and let some air and some good blood and some clean air into the situation. But once people come out of that mode, so let's say somebody does have balance and they are doing what you're suggesting, that doesn't mean there won't be tension, there won't be crisis, there won't be challenges, right? So I think what you're saying is that if they have more balance, if they have exercise, if they take care of themselves, they can have a different feeling about these crises, because you said it all goes back to that feeling in the first 6 years of life, right?
Yes.
Is that
So what's his question?
um, I get asked that a lot. What are you trying to ask? The question is, um, when somebody follows your instructions,
Yes.
and that doesn't mean they won't face a crisis, but what will be different about the crisis if they have more balance in their life? Let's put it that way.
Okay. For me, is everything a crisis what is not in balance. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have a bad feeling, for me is this is a crisis situation.
That's an
And
imbalance. You're saying a bad feeling is an imbalance.
yes,
But you're not saying that people have to feel good about everything, right? But you're preaching what I would call moderation, perhaps.
yes,
Not to let your feelings overwhelm the situation.
yes, this is very important.
Mm.
And when I work with people one to one, it's very important um, to analyze every day or every hour to what's feel, who I am, what I feel. This is very important because then people look uh, who really uh, he or she are,
Mhm.
because sometimes people see, oh no, this is like I work like my father or mother, talk what like my parents, and then when we something a view, then we can change,
Mm,
because
I see.
but change what's important, it's very important. Our brain, it's just repair this. If we feel something not okay and analyze this and be in focus, then uh, brain uh, repair just repair just whole situation create to okay.
Will make an adjustment, I guess you would say, right?
Yes,
The
yes,
brain
so
will adjust, but to do that, it has to realize what the problem is, right?
yeah.
I see. Okay. Dr. Krantz, Milan Krantz, I want to thank you so much for being with us on the accelerator today.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's fascinating work, and I wanted to ask you: are any of your books in English? Are any of your books translated into English?
Yes, yes, many books, maybe
Okay.
100 books translated in English. My
You've written 100 books?
Yes, I write 400 books.
How did you do that? How did you manage that? That's a lot
Um,
of books.
it's maybe, but I start writing when I was 10 years.
Yeah,
I start a poetry, and then I see I very feel good when I'm writing. And now 37 years, I write every day.
me
This
too.
is
Yeah,
my, yes, this is like wash my brain,
yeah, yeah.
and then
Wash your brain. Yeah,
yes, and then I sent all my text in different editor, and now I have more than 400 books.
amazing. I want to spell your name for those who are listening. It's Milan, like the city. Krajnc is spelled Krajnc, so that they can find your books. I guess to
Uh,
ask if your books have been translated was it turned out to be a pretty dumb question.
uh,
but,
uh,
but no,
uh,
that's incredible. That's amazing. Well, you're a great example, and obviously you're doing important work. And
mm,
it's really an honor to have you on our podcast today. So thank you so
thank,
much. This has been the
thank,
Accelerator with Michael Conniff. We've been talking with Dr. Milan Krajnc, who is a senior advisor to UNIPLAT and an advisor to world leaders in crisis situations, and has written 400 books, which is amazing. That's like more than anyone in the world, I think. But I want to remind you that you can find me at Michael Conniff at Twitter, MichaelConniff. MichaelConniff.com is my website. And make sure to subscribe on all or any of the major platforms to the Accelerator with Michael Conniff podcast. And don't be afraid to give us a rating if you get a chance. So until the next time, we'll be back with another podcast before you know it. Okay.